Yo, what is up, guys? It's Cone back here again today with another video, and I'm gonna go over real quick the NBA games from today. There were some good ones today. The Nets Nuggets played a great game. The Sixers and Heat played a great game. Joel Embiid went insane. He deserves a shout out to start this video. He was unbelievable. It's insane to me that one of the best mid-range shooters in the NBA is a 7-footer that weighs 280 pounds. I've Joel Embiid is like he's unreal. I'm like, so before the playoffs last season, I was always in the Joel Embiid is the best center in the league camp. The playoffs shifted me to Jokic. Now I'm not sure where I stand. I think I still lean Jokic a little bit, but it's so close between those two. We're very gifted to see two amazing centers like them in our league right now. But I felt like giving Joel Embiid that shout out real quick to start the video, even though I probably won't talk about him too much because I made a video a couple days ago on the Sixers and how good they are. But Embiid's been an MVP candidate so far. I think he absolutely deserves that spot at the top of the MVP conversations right now because the Sixers are up there at the top of the East. I believe now with this win, they're either tied for first or they're second with the Celtics. I'm not sure. The Celtics keep not playing games because of COVID stuff. But anyways, the main part of this video I want to talk about is the Los Angeles Lakers to start off. They're ridiculous. I don't really know if anyone can beat that team. I picked them preseason to win the championship, and they've been proving me right so far. I also picked LeBron James to be my MVP, and I think he's also up there in that conversation for sure at age 36. I just don't think this dude's ever going to age, but he was unreal tonight, had 26 points. He was efficient. He had a three in the corner that was like a Curry type thing where he shot it, and then he turned around, looked at the bench, and like laughed with them and then turned back around before it all went in, and the bench went nuts. It was so good. They made the Rockets look like a G League team. Like they just weren't. It looked like LeBron was just playing with them. It was like LeBronto all over again, but this time in Houston against James Harden, who looks completely checked out. Harden, I haven't seen a player not want to be where he is since Anthony Davis. As badly as Harden seems to want out, it's unbelievable. He might as well wear a shirt that says "I don't want to be here," or just tweet it out like Eric Bledsoe did a couple of years ago, because he's checked out. He hasn't scored over 25, I think it was the stat, in like the last 5 or so games. That stat came from Matt Ferris wheel emoji, Rockets Please Win on Twitter. Check him out. He's one of the better Rockets fans on there. And Harden's just looks checked out. He looks like he doesn't care. He looks really big too. It has to be a camera angle, right? There's no way Harden's that fat. I really don't think he is. But he just looks checked out. Like, he doesn't want to play in Houston anymore. And I feel like a trade has to happen because the Rockets are losing. I mean, I'm fine with the Rockets losing up to this point because, like I said in a previous video, we have their pick. We also lost today, by the way. I thought I would update you guys on the Thunder. The Spurs always beat us. It's nothing new. And then we play the Lakers, who I'm talking about right now, as an unstoppable juggernaut tomorrow. It's going to be bad. But as the Rockets lose, we have their pick. So I'm okay with them continuing to fall apart a little bit for this season. But I mean, I hate to see, like, both sides I feel like are struggling now. Harden doesn't want to be there. The Rockets probably just want to move on from him at this point and get some young assets, start building for the future if their franchise guy doesn't want to be there. I feel like a deal is going to happen at some point. And I mean, with Kyrie not being there for the Nets at the moment, I don't really know what's up with that situation, so I can't make any judgments. I know that Kyrie Irving is not Hitler. Someone on Twitter today compared Kyrie Irving to Adolf Hitler, which is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. It had to have been like an attention clout grab thing, which, to be fair, a lot of people did give him attention for it, me included. My bad. But anyways, the Nets, they don't know what he's up with. Apparently the management's not happy with him, so maybe that Nets Harden trade does happen. I don't know. But part of the reason Harden probably looks so disconnected is because the Lakers are just so good. When the defending champions add the 2 top bench players from last season, Dennis Schroeder and Montrezl Harrell, you add Marc Gasol, who's just a guy with a lot of intangibles, good defender, good passer, just an all-around like nice player to have on your championship contending team. It's like they're just so good. And you add Wesley Matthews, who hasn't been great, but he's been starting to pick it up a little bit. Caruso's playing well. Talen Horton-Tucker looks amazing. He looks like a diamond in the rough, a gem that they found in the draft. I don't know how you stop this Lakers team. I don't see any team in the league beating them in 4 games. I don't know. I think that as of right now, until I see something more, I don't see this Lakers team, like I said, losing in a 7-game series, or no team's going to take 4 games off these Lakers. Because when you've got the best player in the world, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and all that depth, one of LeBron or Anthony Davis can have a bad night. You've got like 5 guys ready to step up in their absence. So shout out to them. I also want to give a shout out to the Utah Jazz. I keep saying I need to talk about them, so I'm finally going to talk about them. The Jazz are really, really good. And not a lot of people talk about the Utah Jazz. And I think that's because they're the Utah Jazz. They're a team that doesn't get a lot of national media attention. They have a lot of players who aren't very flashy other than Donovan Mitchell, like Mike Conley, who's been really good this season, by the way. He looks like the Mike Conley of old, the one that they tried to trade for, that everyone, including me, thought was going to make them like a top seed in the West last season. He looks like that Mike Conley. Maybe not as good, but he still looks good. Jordan Clarkson's been great. He's definitely one of the early front runners for Sixth Man of the Year. Donovan Mitchell hasn't even been playing very well. And up until recently, where he has started playing well, the Jazz have still been winning games. They've beaten a bunch of good teams. They blew out the Bucks at one point. They had a massive blowout win against the Cavaliers today, who have been solid up to this point. They are fading off a little bit, but any blowout win against an NBA team, especially going through all this COVID stuff, is a huge win. And they looked incredible tonight. Rudy Gobert, a lot of people don't like him because he's not a flashy player. He gets paid a lot to do the dirty work type stuff. It's kind of like a Draymond Green, where people are like, why is he getting paid that much money? He doesn't do that much. But I feel like people understand it more with Draymond Green. People don't understand it with Rudy Gobert as much because he doesn't have the rings and all that stuff, which is fair to assess that Draymond Green deserves that money more because he has earned those rings. But I think Rudy Gobert does deserve his respect. He does all the dirty work. He grabs boards. He cleans up the glass. He blocks shots. He's not very involved in the offense, which he doesn't have to be, because when you have all those guys like Bojan Bogdanovic, which is another player that a lot of people forget the Jazz lost last season in the bubble, and before they lost him, they were on a tear towards the end of the season before the bubble started up. The Jazz were playing on a tear, and Bojan was a huge part of that, and to bring him back into the mix, Derek Favors has been a pretty solid addition for them so far. This Jazz team is just good. They're 7-4 right now. They're tied for second in the West behind those almighty Lakers that just no one can seem to stop. And I think they deserve your respect. So I wanted to bring them up. I wanted to talk about them a little bit because, like I said, I keep talking about making a video on them or talking about them more, which I wanted to do today earlier, but I'm glad I waited till now that they got this win. I also had like a dentist appointment stuff today, and this entire half of my face was numb for half the day. So that video, so if you were waiting for a video earlier today and it didn't come, sorry, that's why. It just took kind of longer than I expected. Anyways, I think that's most of the things. Right now, Pacers-Warriors is going on. If something crazy happens in that video, I'll talk about it. I do want to say that the Pacers have been playing really, really well, and I kind of also want to make a video about them because Malcolm Brogdon has been an all-star type player. Domantas Sabonis has been an all-star type player. They're just really good. But outside of that, Celtics-Bulls tonight got postponed, so I obviously can't talk about that game. And I guess finally, just a little bit about the Nuggets-Nets game. The Nets showed a lot of resilience tonight. They were down big at half. They came out down 16.5, ended up on a 16 point advantage in the third quarter to make it a tie game, and then outscoring the Nuggets by 6 in the fourth quarter with Kevin Durant hitting a massive shot. I'm so happy to see Kevin Durant back. Some of you may think as a Thunder fan, I hate seeing Kevin Durant succeed because I've gotten that DM before. Someone DM'd me one time and asked me if I was happy that Kevin Durant got hurt in the finals. Like sports isn't that serious, you know that, right? Anyways, I'm really happy that Kevin Durant's back. The league is way better with him back. One of the greatest scorers of all time, 7-footer. Like I was just talking about Joel Embiid doing all those crazy things at 7 feet tall. Kevin Durant does that and more because he has like insane handles too. Kevin Durant's crazy. And to see Steve Nash get a win with that team over a pretty good Denver Nuggets team is cool to see. He deserves it. He's dealt with a lot. Between Spencer Dinwiddie's big injury and Kyrie Irving going completely AWOL for this part of the season. Earlier, he was asked if Kyrie Irving is coming back this season, and he answered sure, which I don't know what that means. But Kevin Durant looked great. I'm happy for KD. Jokic had a pretty good game. Not as good as Joel Embiid's game, which is going to fuel the center arguments more. But I think that's everything that happened in the NBA today. Earlier today, they released some new COVID protocol rules. I had a video talking about that yesterday. If you missed it, go check it out. I was a little bit talking about what I would do as like the commissioner to try and enforce stuff. And they did some of the stuff I said. More particularly, though, they focused on the aspect of reducing spread as opposed to increasing roster spots. But I want to say real quick, Woj made a really good point earlier today that if the league does stop the season, the players are just going to go out and do whatever they want, and the spread's not going to stop. So I see the point in not canceling the season. I get that there is like opportunity or a want to keep the players safe, but it maybe keeping them in like the league's protocols, try and keep them honest to that, is a good way of keeping them safe. I don't know. These are millionaires who are going to end up doing whatever they want at the end of the day, especially if they don't have like the league to play for. If they don't have to worry about being safe for the league, they're just going to go do whatever they want. So with that being said, I think that's all I wanted to talk about. Let me know what you thought about the games today down below in the comment section. Like, subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll see you guys later. Real one, say it back.